Hello, today I want to ask you some questions about climate change. So first, um, what's the most serious problem you think in the climate change?
I think lots of creatures they will lost their inhabitants because a lot of humans activities such as burning the fossil fuels will emit a lot of carbon dioxide, which is the greenhouse gases and cause the global warming, and a lot of iceberg or a lot of forest they will devastated by the high temperature, the wildfires, and that will cause lots of creatures. They are losing their living place, and also I think there are lots of like the extreme weather condition will exist in future, such as typhoon or some huge rains, and in future. So that is my concern about climate change.
So concerning your concern, what's the solution you think can solve the problem?
I think we should focus on the education because nowadays, our new generation need to use a lot of energy, but they um, always ignore the importance of protecting our other creatures or the ecosystem. So we should teach them how to utilize the energy without emitting a lot of harming gases, or it will be harmful to our ecosystem. So I think education is really important, and to raise the awareness of our human beings and to protect our earth.
Yeah. So about in conclusion, are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future?
I'm quite optimistic about the climate change and how dealing with the climate change in future, because nowadays we can integrate it with AI to deal with or tackle a lot of climate change problem. Because AI can collect a lot of data, can detect a lot of signals to tell people how to we should avoid, we should take some prepares to avoid we have more harmful a situation that we may face. And the observatories also use AI to detect whether typhoon is coming or whether the raining will become serious. So I think AI is a very good tools to solve the questions.
Okay. Thank you for answers.
Thank you.
Hello, Will. Today I want to ask you some questions about climate change. So the what's the most serious problems in the climate change that you think?
I think maybe the very high temperature nowadays, because of this, the very high temperature, the sea level is increasing and increasing. So the very old virus will be released and to come to our cities, come to our country. It's very dangerous thing. We don't our human cannot define this because we don't have facing this because they are almost in the ice, so it is very dangerous thing, I think.
So about the problems you say, what's the solution?
I think to deal the virus is not in the biology but in the environment, in particular the eco-friendly things like to find the renewable energy and to replace the non-renewable energy. The carbon dioxide is it is the most thing to deal the high temperature and particular the hurt island effect in cities. So to deal with this, we cannot just facing to think how to deal the virus in the biology or in the hospital. So we are must facing this in the eco-friendly and think how to deal the temperature.
So in conclusion, are you optimistic or pessimistic about the future?
Of course, I think I'm optimistic about it because when human facing very dangerous thing, they can think very good solution about it and to do this thing by all the energy they can find and get together to deal with this. And I think because of this, I was very optimistic about to deal with it.
Okay, thank you for your answers.
Okay.
Asher. Hello, I want to ask some questions about climate change. So, what do you think? What is the most serious problems in the climate change?
In my opinion, the serious problem of the climate change, I think it will disrupt the ecosystem. And since there are climate change will lead to some increasing frequency of super typhoon, some extreme rainstorm, and also they will worsen the air pollution, and it will damage our environment and disrupt the ecosystem. And if the ecosystem collapse, I think it will lose the access to the clean air and fresh water, and the city will become not sustainable, and the poor environment will become a huge challenge for our next generation. And I think it's the most serious problem of the climate change.
So, about your opinion, what's the solution you think can solve the problems?
I think in the way of government, they should use more renewable energy and stop to use the non-renewable energy, and which can to reduce the air pollution, reduce the release of some greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, which to help the greenhouse effect not to aggravate the greenhouse effect and help the city be more sustainable. I think it's the solution that the government can do. And also for our normal people, for the citizens, what we can do, we can reduce to using some material that cannot be reusable, which we can use some reusable material, like in our eating, we stop to use the plastic and use some wood, the wood knife something like that which is reusable.
Okay. So, in conclusion, are you optimistic about the future of climate change?
I am quite pessimistic that I don't think I think the climate change will be more worsened. Because I think in our life that many people do not they don't think climate change is a serious problem, which they create many things that is not sustainable, like they do more produce more plastic, and in the some for the government they still have produced many air pollutant that, and in the also in some like car they still using the petrol car, which produce many greenhouse gases and aggravate the greenhouse effect. The climate change, I think they do not do enough actions to deal with the climate change, and in the future I think climate change will be more serious, and it will be more super typhoon, more extreme rainstorm in the future. Okay.
Okay, thank you.